Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless the Shaykh with the best blessings as well as all of the murids. Why is Tazkiyah not widely taught nowadays, and why do people not realize the importance of it?
Why is Tazkiyah? Cleaning, purification is Tazkiyah. Tazkiyah, purification of what? Your clothes, your money laundering? No, Tazkiyah is Tazkiyah to nafs. Cleaning of your nafs. Why? The question is, why is it not taught? That falls under the category of tasawwuf, of Sufism. Tasawwuf, it is a deeper, more focused way of being a servant to Allah, where a person does everything correctly according to Shariat, your responsibilities, doing what Prophet is saying, do and don't do. Later he's saying, now I want to know why. And he's trying to find the answers. And he does, not because to gain paradise, or he don't do, not because he doesn't want to be punished, but now he's doing, and he's stopping, and he's going deeper to return to Allah. It is about returning to Allah. It's not about going to Jannat or Jahannam. No. It's to return to Allah, to become a servant. So this is tasawwuf. Allah is mentioning so many times how the truth has to be protected. Because this dunya is not a place of truth. This dunya is the enemy to truth. Dunya, by dunya, I don't mean birds and bees and whales and sky. I don't mean that. I mean the materialistic things that man is going to see, to say, this is all that exists, and there is no Allah, there is no Akhirat. And this is all mine. That dunya. Put it very simply. The truth and the Prophet's way, alayhi salatu wasalam, has always been protected. There were people who followed Islam, but they were not preserving the Prophet's way. They were praying, they were fasting. They were doing everything, but they were not going according to the way of the Prophet. The Sahabe Kiram, the Tabi'ins would go to war with them. They'll cut their necks off, saying that nothing good is going to come when you are kicking away the Prophet's way. All enemies of Islam, they were coming not to destroy Islam, because they know Islam cannot be destroyed. But the whole aim from that time until now, it is to destroy the Prophet's way. And the Prophet's way is tariqat and tasawwuf and Sufism. The why you are doing it, to become a servant. Understanding that and to return to Allah. This is the Prophet's way. And to preserve the Prophet ﷺ's way is not just with reading and writing and making a zikr. There's a whole system that is there. It's called Khilafat. The Khalifa, the first Khalifa, Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq, he did not say, I'm Khalifatullah. He didn't say, I'm Khalifa of Allah. He says, I'm Khalifa, I'm the representative of the Prophet. Hazrat Umar saying, I am representing Abu Bakr. I'm not even representing the Prophet. I'm representing Abu Bakr, who's representing the Prophet. And the Prophet is the one representing Allah. And that continued and that continued. So there's a whole system that preserves this, that protects this truth. What truth? The only truth. La ilaha illallah. That doesn't end there. The Jews believe in La ilaha illallah too. There's some other ones also. They say there's only one God. No other things. There's only one God. It is not complete. Your religion and your Aqidah is not complete if you don't say Muhammad Rasulullah. You cannot say there is only one God, but I am a prophet of God. So many Muslims are saying that today. They're saying there's only one God, but I want to follow him according to my own intelligence. Now there's one stupid squarehead idiot in Turkey. He's saying the Quran is a wrong arrangement. Ahir Zaman. If that was said that time, you know what's going to happen. Person cannot even say. They are going to rearrange him. Don't you know, during the Prophet ﷺ's time, every Ramazan, Hazrat Jibreel ﷺ would sit after the whole Quran was completed. The Wahi was completed. Everything is completed. Then Hazrat Jibreel is going to said to the Prophet ﷺ, now recite the Quran. The Prophet would recite the Quran from the beginning. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Up to the last ayat. What is the last ayat? One nas, mankind. One nas. Bismillah, nas. Every Ramazan, the whole, and then Jibreel alayhi salam would listen, say, until the Prophet passed. And that arrangement is a divine arrangement, and not Prophet only was memorizing that. You put on paper, it can be changed. You memorize, it can never be changed. But it was memorized by thousands of Sahabis. And it was also written just in case. Nowadays, nobody wants to memorize. You don't even know your phone numbers. You write everything down, it can be changed, it can be lost, it can be burned. That is not divine knowledge. And that memorized Quran has been going on for 1400 years. Up till today, it is still, don't you know, mujizat. Allah is saying, this is easy for you to remember. It is an easy book. You get from 6-year-old to 60 years old people who can memorize just like that. The only holy book that you see people memorizing, thousands, hundreds of thousands, that they are preserving. In fact, the people who memorize, they're not called memorizers, they're called hafiz, protectors of the Quran. So now everyone is saying La ilaha illallah, but not this one is saying Anna Rasulullah, some saying technology Rasulullah, some saying philosophy Rasulullah, some saying dunya Rasulullah. Everyone is following their own prophet, but still claiming they're following Allah. No, you follow Allah according to the Prophet, because Allah sent Islam and the Quran not to you and me, but to the Prophet ﷺ. So what happened now? Why there's no Tazkiyah? Because his whole system of protecting the truth, protecting the Prophet's way, Ahl Sunnat way, protecting it. And don't think that there wasn't any challenge. There were challenges every year, every few years, every decade, every era. There was a challenge. Not some people saying there's not one group, not one Facebook group, not one .org. We're talking about from huge mass movements from the ground to rulers who wants to change Islam. But Allah is saying we mean to protect this religion, and it is protected. Because the system Allah sent, the system of the Prophet, it protected that. So the only way that you can change the system is you remove the system. And Tazkiyah to nafs, it is a very important part of this system. It is the spirit, it is the soul, it is the essence of this system. If you don't have Sufism, nothing is going to work. Nothing. There's no Islam. You have people just doing the actions of Islam, but there is no spirit of Islam. So the whole system is now destroyed. The Khilafat was removed. Now the Qibla has turned to the west. They're not running after scholars. They're running after sheikhs. They're running after salihin. They hang them from the roadsides. They finished off generations. It's done. And they put a version of Islam. Yes, there is a version of Islam, because our Prophet ﷺ is saying Islam is going to be divided into 73 different groups, but only one is saved. He didn't say all of them they are saved, like so many Muslims now. Scholars, they're saying, no, don't worry. Everyone is correct. Prophet is saying only one is in safety. The rest, they're bounding to hellfire. So they put that sect of Islam that the Prophet warned 1400 years ago. This is what's going to happen. They put that group, the biggest mischief makers, the biggest fitna that has ever come to this religion and this ummah. And now that idea, that philosophy, that understanding, that spirit spread over to everywhere. Even those who are claiming they're Sufi, they become like that. Those who are claiming that they are Ahl Sunnah, they also become like that. In the old days, until 50 years ago, 80 years ago, you cannot be a scholar if you don't have a shaykh. I say it's impossible. You cannot. We can teach you the Zahir knowledge, but we don't know what you're going to do with this outside knowledge. Your shaykh has to be the one who's cleaning you up inside. We don't want to be responsible teaching you all this religious knowledge and you run and you bring people to the fire. This is what is happening. Prophet is saying, ﷺ, that when Mahdi ﷺ comes, he will cut off the necks of 70,000 wrong scholars in Islam. Everyone today is running to become a scholar, mashallah, in the Ahir Zaman. Good luck to you. No one is saying, Astaghfirullah, I may be like that also. Please pray for me, Shaykh. But people come to me and say, why are you so against scholars? Why are you so against madrasas? Why are you so against knowledge? This is wrong. You should be nice and gentle. That is good manners. Why are you so against ulamas and alims? Because we're living in the Ahir Zaman. Because the alims and the ulamas, even in the time of Khilafat, they do not act independently. They don't. They don't. Those who are in truth, even if their necks are cut off, their teachings will continue. Those who are not in truth, they act independently, their necks are cut off, and everything is finished. Because Allah is saying, we will protect this religion. The people come to me and they say, this is wrong. You're teaching your people not to learn, not to know. So be an idiot. You squarehead. You see, become Wahhabi. You squarehead. What you need to learn as a Muslim, if I tell you don't even know what the 54 farz is. This is what we know. This is fardu ayn. This is what we know, which nobody even teaches these days. You want to become a scholar, but you say, you don't even know how to enter into a toilet. You think you know so much. I'm not against that kind of knowledge. I'm against the kind of knowledge when you don't know how to enter into a toilet, but you think you're a saint. And you start judging people. And instead of advising people how to become better, you're making them to become more and more arrogant and stubborn and blind. 70,000. Hazrat Mahdi is going to cut their necks off. These 70,000, they are representing only the tip of the iceberg because there are millions that are following them. Yes? Celebrity scholars. You ask these scholars, do you have a shaykh? Who is your shaykh? What is his lineage? Where is he getting his permission from? What was he before? Who is interested in such things? But you know how to say, no. Every hadith has to go through so much, how you say? Authenticity, what? To make sure it is authentic, to verify it, you have to go through so many processes. You know how to say that. Your Shaykh is authenticated or no? Your way is authenticated? Yeah. So now, instead of Tazkiratul Nafs, I'm not Arabic, alhamdulillah. I'm not a scholar. That's another mercy that is there. Because to have proper pronunciation, to have proper lughat, and to have proper tajweed, you don't have to be a Muslim. You don't. I know so many non-Muslims, strong Christians and Kafirs, that when they recite Quran, your heart will shake. But this is what being scholastic in these days they're pushing you towards. They don't care if that one is what he's thinking about when he's reciting. They don't care. They only want nice recitation, so all his uncle buddies can say, "MashaAllah, you make nice qari today." We collect $100,000 every Ramadan. You become a big show. So when they destroy the system and they destroy the sheikhs and destroy the schools, and everything is going under. That's why people are not interested. Don't you know people enter into tarikats either to, I'm oversimplifying of course to drive home a point, either to sing and dance and feel really nice, or to get powers from Malakut, to put things on people or to make things to happen. Who enters for their spirit to be purified? Oh, my spirit is purified. I say Allah, 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 spirit is purified. This is mashallah to you. Parrot can say Allah, Allah, Allah too. Recorder can also say Allah, Allah, Allah too. A munafiq can sit next to the Prophet and kiss his hand and eat from his food. It didn't change him. It didn't change him. But who enters into tariqat to take away the hypocrisy from? Very, very few. Very few. So many just enter into tariqat also just, for adventure. Say, oh, this one? Oh, yeah, I must follow this Shaykh. Because ask anything and then he's going to give to you. So, like Santa Claus, Krampus, Mampus. It's wrong. I'm not saying the Shaykh cannot pray for you. It's coming from Allah, yes. I'm not saying that certain things are not going to be open to you. I'm not saying that your heart is not going to be light when you are singing, you're doing, but that should not be our focus. The focus has to be to clean yourself, to purify yourself. The zikr and the prayers, the singing and the dancing, doing all of that, you don't have to be pure to be feeling all of those things. You don't. How lucky we are, we found our Shaykh. How lucky we are that he pulled us from our mess. May Allah help us. We are weak. May Allah help us to be strong in this way. In dunya and akhirat, inshallah. Al-Fatiha. Assalamu alaikum.